So here's the headline that ran in a popular newspaper this week. Call of Duty is, quote, targeting girls. And it featured a couple of people who have deemed themselves experts in child development. And they claim that there is evidence that suggests girls playing Black Ops 3 will likely become more cold and reckless or more withdrawn and fearful. Which, are two completely, totally different extremes. If you're a little girl playing Call of Duty, you're either going to become a cold-blooded killer or you're going to go piss your pants and go hide in the corner. Now, of course, like so many so-called experts on the lamestream media, they failed to provide any of their evidence. They didn't point to any studies or talk about data. Instead, they just relied on their feelings. So, the reason this Call of Duty is apparently so detrimental to fragile and easy malleable girls is because the game lets you play as a girl. So the experts say that it's, quote, incredibly worrying because girls can now see themselves in the role as hunting down and killing other people. And for game developers, it seems like a no-win situation. People attack you if you don't include women in your games, and then people attack you when you do include women. So, let's face it, there are just some people who don't like games, period. And they're going to find something to bitch about. And I've run into many girls over the years who enjoy playing Call of Duty, even though they've always had to play as a male character. Now, are these girls more likely to go out and commit mass murder now that there are girl characters that they can choose to play as? Are we going to see more serial killers popping up on the 6 o'clock news who have non-male body parts? No. And the reason is because my beliefs aren't built off of feelings. They talk about evidence, yet again, they forgot to provide any. And the reason why they couldn't provide any is because there isn't any. There have been so many studies trying to link real-world violence or gun violence to game violence. And there isn't any. There are no studies that point to that. In fact, if you just look at the data, the countries that play the most games end up being the least violent. It's completely the opposite of what the media would like you to believe. And, if you just listen to the media, it's just so warped. For instance, they try to pretend that gun crimes, for instance, are off the charts in the U.S. The U.S. is always bashed for gun violence, when in fact, the trend has been going down even though gun sales are going through the roof. Are these same people, were they blaming Mario for jumping on toads when violent crime was happening back in the 80s? So articles like this are a joke. They throw around the word expert, but you could easily substitute the word expert for dumbass and come to the same conclusions. It's misinformation, it's propaganda with no scientific leg to stand on.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.